Oh, hello there. I'm back here again with another episode of Craven Some Raven. And in this episode, if you could tell by the title, I'm going to be doing another mock draft, Raven specific. So, what I'm doing is, I'm only taking the picks that the Ravens have right now and drafting a player. This is my second one, so all the names I tried to make different. I think there's one name that I'm repeating, but there's a reason for that, because I like this player. And so I did not involve any trades. I do believe the Ravens will trade, so this will kind of be pointless, but it's a fun little exercise, and I'd like to hear how much you hate it, how much you hate my picks, because I'm sure can't make everyone happy. Like even myself, I crossed out 1,000 names and switched it up 1,000,000 fucking times before I finally just, you know what? I'm just going to go with it. You can't make the perfect draft. You can't. It's damn near impossible, especially getting down to the later rounds. It's like, man, I'd like to get this player, but there's no way they fall. So that's kind of what I was dealing with here. And pretty much, it was just super tough, man. This is post the big days of free agency, so we lost our whole defense. Thanos came down and snapped us, and then we got Earl Thomas and Mark Ingram, so that pretty much made up for it. 2 versus like 5 guys that left, or 6 guys, whatever it was. Totally worth it. I mean, but like on a sincere note, like after the Ravens signed Earl Thomas, I was like, holy fuck, thank God. Because god damn it, I watched his highlight tapes, and it's like, damn, we're getting the best player to ever play football. I mean, you can watch highlight tape of anybody playing football and be like, man, this guy's going pro. Like, you watch highlight tapes of any of these guys, you're like, man, this guy's going to be a first rounder. But no, you got to watch more than just the highlights. You got to watch the tape. That's what I did with these list of guys. These are names that I knew. They always come up kind of somewhat, sort of, in the cognoscenti of football draft talk. So, before I get into it, I have to take care of some business, because I have a sponsor. Got to make that money. You know how it goes. So today's episode is brought to you by Bison Balls Water Jugs. Are you a hipster or just love things from the 1800s? Do you wish to drink water like a Native American? Then pick up your Bison Balls Water Jug today. Each Bison Balls water jug is hand-carved and picked from only the most handsome of our bison. They can hold up to 32 ounces of water or any fluid of your choice. The bison listens to smooth jazz before we chop their balls off to ensure a clean cut and smooth finish. Bison Ball water jugs are also sponsored by PETA, so rest assured no bisons were harmed while we chopped their balls off. Bison Ball water jugs. Wow, this water barely tastes like balls. Excellent stuff there. I might have to get me one of those. My water jugs seems a little too new school now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that'd be nice. Now, are they furry? I wonder. Excellent tagline, too. It really invokes what they're going for here. Great business model. I'm really into what they're doing, this company. I think they're an up-and-coming business. I think they're probably going to be on Amazon soon. So, get them now while they're still cool. Okay, that was totally real. A real ad. So, I guess I'll just get into it. That's what you came here for. You came here for the mock draft, and look, it's like 4 minutes in, and I haven't even given you a single fucking player. But, like I said, this was super difficult because we don't have a second-round pick, and without that second-round pick, you're going from pick number 22 to pick number 85. So, it's like, okay, what's your biggest need? Because if you don't get it in the first round, then you're probably not going to get a bona fide, definitely going to be a starter. I guess no draft pick is a bona fide starter. You don't ever know. Brashad Perryman. So, I guess I'll just get into it. And you can argue with my picks another time. Send me an email. Let me know how bad my picks were. So, with the first pick in the Ravens draft, round 1, pick number 22, the Baltimore Ravens select, that was a drum roll, Hakeem Butler, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Now, you know this guy. He stands in at 6'6", 205 pounds. Now, this may seem a little rich for him. I think it is too. But, if we can trade back, get that second pick, get him late in the first round or even the second round, I just think that would be a good pick. I just think this guy, out of the wide receivers who I think could be there at pick number 22, I just think he's most likely to have the potential to be a top 10 wide receiver in the league. Be a definite bona fide number one. It's just a great word. I'm going to keep using it. Bona fide. You've been bona fide. Anyways, Hakeem Butler, man, this dude is just a great wide receiver. Fast, big, strong hands. He likes to get open. The only thing I don't like is, I saw a few drops, so that's kind of a red flag. But most wide receivers you're looking at will have drops. It's just the way it goes. You're not going to catch everything. You're not getting DeAndre Hopkins in this draft. I mean, I don't think there is a DeAndre Hopkins in this draft, someone who just catches everything. But with his size and ability to go up and get the ball, that huge catch radius is going to be huge. It's going to be a pretty big deal for a guy like Lamar Jackson, who doesn't have the most accurate passing. Definitely not the best passer, but I think with the way the run game is, how successful that's going to be for the Ravens, I think he'll get a lot of one-on-one looks, and he'll be able to go up and get that ball. That could be behind him, could be in front of him. Another thing about him, and I guess the whole Iowa offense, I was so confused, watching the tape on him. It's man, throw to your best player, guys. Iowa State, is this why you're not relevant? Because you got this dude, Hakeem Butler, who is a fucking monster, a freak, and you're only throwing it to him 5-6 times a game. Maybe that's a little extreme, but there were a few times where they went they were 2 drives without even throwing to him. It's this is your man, this is your guy. They went to him a lot on third down, because that's what you do with your best player on offense. You get them the ball on third down. That's what you do. So I think he has a chance to be a true number one wide receiver, something that the Ravens I don't think have ever had in the past. Let's see. Who was the last number one wide receiver the Ravens had that teams had to game plan for, that other teams were scared of? Or what? Steve Smith? Anquan Bolden? Did they have to double those guys? This is the kind of guy who has the potential to need to be double teamed at all times. He could be that guy. And he's a Baltimore kid. So, obviously, as a Ravens fan, he's got to be higher on the list, because that's what we do as Ravens fans. We love Baltimore people. So, I think that's going to do it for me talking about him. So with our first third-round pick number 85 total, the Baltimore Ravens select Zach Allen. I guess he's an edge rusher, kind of like a 5 technique edge defensive line kind of guy out of Boston College, and he stands in at 6'4", 281 pounds. Now, when I watched this guy on tape, I instantly thought white Terrell Suggs, just not as polished, obviously. Didn't have nearly as much production as Terrell Suggs did coming out of college, but I just really liked what I saw from him. He really sets the edge well and pass rushes very well. Uses his strength, uses that bull rush and rip kind of technique, and very, very instinctive. Especially I watched him playing against Clemson, the national championship team, or the champions. So obviously a very good team, and he had a really good game. He was disruptive the whole game. High motor kind of guy. And what I really liked, and what reminded me of Terrell Suggs the most, is he would go in, start pushing up on the tackle, then shove him off, and then get in that flat, get in that area. He tipped a few passes that game. Can't remember off the top of my head if he got any interceptions that game. But if you see his highlight tape, he's got quite a few of those interceptions where he backs off, gets into that lane right there, and gets his hands on the ball. And that's something that Terrell Suggs made a career out of. Just jumping up and getting in the quarterback's eyes. And he just had tons of sacks. Really used that bull rush well. Got the lineman off balance and really just had his way with them. I just really liked what I saw. He just reminded me exactly what Terrell Suggs kind of did, especially in his later years. The way he kind of used his strength. Not so much speed, but strength. They just look so familiar. And I think with Terrell Suggs gone, that specific kind of player, very good against the run and serviceable, definitely good enough to get you some sacks, a 3-down kind of edge defender. I think the Ravens, they don't really have that on the roster. I think Matt Judon, he's gotten better against the run. He just doesn't have the size to really just set the edge and keep the offensive linemen where he wants to keep them. I think Tyus Bowser and Tim Williams, they're more pass rush types. Tyus Bowser a little bit more outside linebacker, kind of drop back, and then Tim Williams just go get the quarterback. Hair's on fire, go get the quarterback. Speed. So he just brings that different element that we lost from a Terrell Suggs. And I think if he's there in the third round at pick 85, you'd be a fool not to pick him up. And man, he just looks big. He just looks big out there. Looks like a good edge rusher when you're watching him play. Big fan of his. I think that'd be a good pick. So with the next pick, in the third round, pick 102, the Ravens select Ross Pierschbacher. 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 Anyways, he was the center from Alabama. So obviously went to Alabama, so he's good. But that's not the only reason. Watching him on tape, he's very good. He's 6'4", 307. And I think the Alabama O-line is underrated. Everyone talks about Oklahoma and Wisconsin. Now, Alabama, they had one of the best O-lines, I think. I mean, they're in the discussion with those guys, but no one seems to talk about them. That's why Alabama's so good, because they beat you up on the line of scrimmage on offense and on defense. And he was the center for Alabama. And I think he can be there in the third round. I was thinking about going center in the first round. Get what's his name? It's in my head. Garrett Bradbury. But I figured go ahead and get a true number one receiver, someone who, when you watch the game, really impacts it. You don't really see the center doing his work unless you're really into football. But I was surprised with what Matt Skura brought to the table last year. But I think Ross Pierschbacher is even better. And if you can get a replacement in the third round, get your starting center, that'd be great. As a whole draft philosophy, I was thinking just go all O-linemen, but it's really tough. Just watching O-linemen and checking the tape. I'm not a pro at this, so I don't really know what to look for other than, wow, he won that block, or, yeah, wow, looked good to me. Technique-wise, it's hard to really break it down. I'm not too much of an expert at it, so maybe in the future I'll get better at that. So I was thinking, try to get that lineman in at least the first 3 rounds, just because those are the guys who are going to be your premier guys. I don't have to watch someone get beat and have to determine, was he really beat or was it something else, to try to find a later round guy. So I had a bunch of names here. I had a lineman written down for each one of these 3 picks, and then eventually had crossed it out and went with Butler and Zach Allen. So, but I decided, you gotta top 3. I think it's one of the biggest needs, especially like you want to build around Lamar, you go ahead and get your linemen of the future. So you almost get two linemen in the first 3 rounds. I wouldn't be mad at it, but I had to keep at least one or cross them out because I thought Hakeem Butler and Zach Allen would be great picks in those spots. And went to Alabama, so keep the pipeline coming. I mean, there's a reason Alabama players are good. The reason Alabama's good because their players are good. They were coached in a nice pro-style offense. So I think that would be an excellent pick, especially if you get him 102 overall. You get a starting caliber center. Not too shabby. Not too shabby if you ask me. So, with that being said, our 4th round pick 123, 123, baby. I have the Ravens selecting Joejuan Williams. Joejuan Williams, cornerback out of Vanderbilt. He stands in at 6'2", 205. So, big corner. But I mean, just watching him play, he almost looks bigger than that. And this dude, man, he fucking hits. And he fits what I believe the Ravens look for in a corner. He basically did press coverage the whole time. Not the whole time, but I mean, he's a big man-to-man press coverage kind of guy, with that kind of size. And I remember I was watching him against Ole Miss, and he had a great game. I think A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf wasn't playing that game, but A.J. Brown caught like 3 passes over him the whole game. And in that game, A.J. Brown kind of went off. So, I don't remember how many passes A.J. Brown caught that game, but it like close to 15 in like 150 yards. But every single time he was going up against Joejuan Williams, he was having trouble. The catches he made were highlight catches. Like, I'm talking like in the air, behind his head, like caught it with his back, like some crazy bullshit where you're like, damn, man, you can't be mad. Can't be mad at him for that. Kind of like when, let's see, I'm trying to think. Hold on. Kind of like when you would see when someone would catch a pass over Marlon Humphrey, and you'd be like, damn, how the fuck did they catch that? Dude, Marlon, I don't even feel bad for you. That was just a crazy, excellent play that you just really can't defend. It's kind of like that. He was always in position, and watching that game, I wouldn't mark any of those reps as like a loss. I didn't see him get beat off the line. I just saw him hold his own up against some first-round quality wide receivers, and I just really like his game. Oh man, I told you he hits, and man, he's got some vicious hits. You should watch the tape on him. Excellent stuff out of that guy from Vanderbilt. And I think in the 4th round, that could be one of those 4th-round gems, end up being a starter for you that the Ravens always seem to find. It's kind of magic. Honestly, if the Ravens just want to trade back and have like only 4th-round picks, I think that'd probably be best for them because that's their golden round. That's where they get the most starters, right? I'm not crazy here. Like, the Ravens have crazy success in the 4th round. Like, their mid-round is one of the most successful I've ever seen. At least that's what it seems like year after year. Their 1st and 2nd round guys end up being busts. And then their 3rd and 4th and 5th round guys end up being starters. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys... Are you smoking crack over here? Maybe that'll change with Eric Costa. Like we hit on Marlon Humphrey, but it's like everyone else. It's like where are these guys going? So it's enough on him. So in the 5th round, pick 161 overall, I have the Ravens selecting Anthony Ratliff Williams, wide receiver from North Carolina. Now this is my guy. This is my guy in the draft. I'm going to put him in every single one of my mock drafts because I really like him. He stands in at 6'1", 205, so size and stuff. Now, I don't know why no one's talking about this dude. He should be higher on like every list. Every list I'm seeing, he's down real low. But when I watch this guy, he doesn't drop the ball. He doesn't drop the ball. I saw him drop 1 catch. and the defender had his hands on the ball, and it was a shitty thrown ball. You know, so when I was saying earlier that all these wide receivers have drops, not this motherfucker. No. This guy's good. He's big, strong, blocks well. They give him jet sweeps, and he is always successful on those. There was only one that had no success, and that's because the D lineman hit him right when he got the ball. He had nowhere to go. They used him on kick return. He even threw the ball a couple times in trick plays. I guess he played wide receiver or a quarterback in high school. So the dude can spin the ball, man. And I just don't understand why no one's talking about him. Great contested catching like contested balls. And it's not that he doesn't get open, because he gets open. It's just his quarterback was throwing him duds, so he would have to like stop, mid-route and kind of jump up and have to get it and have to contest with the corner, because he gets open. I see him being a number one wide receiver. He's like the ultimate sleeper in this draft, because I hear no one talking about him. Maybe scouts who are professional, maybe they're onto him, or maybe he like hit his girlfriend or something, because I don't understand why no one's been talking about this dude. And he was like North Carolina's offense in general. Like anytime they needed to play, they went to him. He was just all over the field, made tons of plays, and I don't see why that wouldn't transfer to the NFL. And he's at a D1 school, and he's putting up good numbers and just excellent game tape. There was barely any game tape where you'd say, wow, why would you draft this guy? Or this is why he's going to fall to the 5th round. I just have him in the 5th round just because I'm hearing no one talk about him. So I think that's where he's going to land, in the 5th round. Me personally, I think they could draft him in the 3rd round, and I'd be totally cool with it. Not mad at all, because this is my guy in the draft. He could end up being terrible, and I'll sound like a fool, but I'm just going to keep saying this motherfucker's name until people start to listen. Okay? Did you hear? Anthony Ratliff Williams. Kind of a weird name, but yo, he's a buff rat, Yeah, I'm a rat. I lift. Know what I'm saying? So, anyways, next on my list. Now this one is kind of a stretch for me. I didn't really know what to do doing these last two. It was just real tough for me. So, in the 6th round, pick 193 overall, I have the Baltimore Ravens selecting Bryce Love, running back out of Stanford. Now, everybody knows Bryce Love. He's a 5'11", 195. The small dude out of Stanford. Crazy 2017. Shitty 2018. And that's why no one's talking about him. He got the injury. He's got injuries on his resume. He's a small guy, so it's like, will he hold up? But that 2017 tape, man. Woo! Nasty stuff. But it's, oh man, he's a home run hitter, if you don't know. So he finds the hole and is just gone. I think that kind of style pairs up really well with what Lamar Jackson does. I know they just got Mark Ingram and they have Gus Edwards, so obviously they like their big bruisers. But I think, you got the thunder, now get the lightning. Lamar already is that kind of lightning to the thunder, so you need 2 thunders and 2 lightnings. You got to balance the scales. Now, Bryce Love might not even make it to here. I could put him in the 5th and, move around my picks a bunch. But, I did that too many times, like, before I am recording this. So I was just like, fuck it. I'm keeping with this list. I'm staying to it. Now, I'm already, like, this whole draft have kind of been going, like, all offense, because even my next guy's offense. And I just think, really helped Lamar. I know we lost a bunch of pieces on defense, but I like our young guys. I really like, we drafted so much on defense. Eventually, we're going to have to play them, see how they do in, like, long term in a game. Like, see how they do over 3 quarters in a game, Don't just send them in one drive at a time. Really send them in for a long time. Let them get the flow of the game going. because we drafted these guys for a reason, and I think they're nice. They've shown in short spurts that they can be good, so I want to see what they can do. So I just want the Ravens to add weapons and depth on the O-line to really give Lamar the best chance, And Bryce Love, in the 6th round, you're basically just going off of like traits and potential. You're going off of nothing. You're not going to get the most solid of prospects. You're just not. That's not the way the draft works. I mean, you always will find gems, but there's question marks on every single prospect who you think will fall. And I'm just guessing that he'll fall this far. I think like the running backs, like 3 through 5, there's not much of a difference. And one of those running backs is going to fall out, just go real low. And I think it's going to be Bryce Love, just because people are going to be scared of the injuries. I mean, I am too. But I just think the upside, especially with Lamar and the running style that they would kind of combine for, could be pretty deadly. So, with that being said, next pick, I guess it's only 2 picks later, in the 6th round, pick 195. I had trouble with this one because I was thinking, who's going to fall far and have the biggest upside? And me personally, I decided it was this dude, Kevontae Turpin, wide receiver / kick returner / just all-around weapon out of TCU. Now, if you know the name, you're probably like smacking your hand against your head, like, no, that's dumb. Hey, then make your own mock draft and send it out, or just talk shit to mine. I don't care. Get in touch with me. Let me know. But yeah, he's 5'8", 155. So yeah, very small. He's like a 7th grader out there. But god fucking damn it, does he throw some sauce on it. Woohoo! You watch him play as few times he throws a juke on someone, you just cover your mouth, just, oh, what? Oh, silly. Man, he makes people look silly. Now, when I did look him up, apparently he hit his girlfriend, so I doubt the Ravens would ever draft him, but I like his upside. Girlfriend with a black eye or not, I really like his upside. The small guy, it's becoming like a popular kind of weapon in the league. People, obviously you get in the weight room, get a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier, but that super shifty kind of guy who can make anybody miss, like on any given play, like where he can just take it to the house, and just the more big play potential kind of guys that you can surround Lamar, I think the better, Yeah, and we can use him as a kick returner, so we can have that kind of shored up, and then eventually, I don't know how well he'll survive at 5'8", 155, but he can make people miss, man, and he is just an excellent weapon. And like if you're watching TCU games, he would always show up and be like, "Damn, whew, did you see that? Yeah, did you guys see that?" And in the 6th round, that's something I want to see. Get someone who, at least on tape, shows this like crazy potential. Just has that trait. I like to see that woo trait. Where you watch it and you're like woo. I keep saying it because that's the noise he makes you make sometimes when you're watching him. Because I mean, with that size, he's obviously quicker than everybody. Super shifty. Just excellent hands. And it's just his size, and the fact that he hit his girlfriend, which he'll probably going to go undrafted. But it's super tough, not being a professional scout and just seeing names and trying to decide, 6th round, yeah, you just don't know. It's really tough. So that's going to do it. So just to recap, 1st round, Hakeem Butler. 3rd round, Zach Allen. 3rd round, Ross Pierschbacher. 4th round, Joejuan Williams. 5th round, Anthony Ratliff Williams. 6th round, Bryce Love. And 6th round, Kevontae Turpin. All of this is going to change. I put out a list of names I hope the Ravens draft. So that's kind of more Like, you know, I just put out names that I would be super happy if they drafted. This is just me trying to put some of that list and put it on a really short list. Like trying to get 7 guys down on the list and trying to find value, match the skill with the value, with, you know, where they fall in the draft. It ain't easy, man. And it's Ravens specific, so, you know, everyone does just a first round mock draft. The names are just out there. Everyone, it's just the same names that you could just hit a cycle generator. You know, the top 3, it's been the same for everybody these past few weeks. You know, I just like the Ravens, man. I don't care about your team. If you're a fan of a different team, I don't care about your team. I'm sorry. I care about Ravens football. And so, trying to predict, or at least put out there in the world, who I think the Ravens should get at these picks. You know, this was after the free agency period, so, I mean, the free agency's still going on, so who knows, something else could happen, but, you know, I was thinking safety, but, you know, we got Earl Thomas. We don't need a safety. You know, we got Mark Ingram. Do we need a running back? I think so. You can't trust the bunny rabbit, Kenneth Dixon, you know, hopping around the field like he does. He's going to get injured or get caught popping hot on something, Mexican supplements. So, I gave it my best shot. I kind of threw this together in like 30 minutes. You know, man, like, if you've ever tried to create like a 7-round mock draft for a team, even no matter how much you know about the team, you end up like crossing names out, switching stuff around. Like, oh, well, if I get the wide receiver in the first round, I don't need a wide receiver in the third round, because I was thinking wide receiver in the third round, where I think you get the best value for like skill, you know, where you can get the most skill per value, but at the same time, then you got to deal with other positions. Anyways, I'm going to stop bitching about it, because I put out my list, and that's who I thought the Ravens should draft. So, with that being said, if you like the podcast, want to support it, you know, put a comment, like the video, share it, you know, have your grandma give it a listen. Good stuff. Maybe she'll buy a Bison ball sack water jug. Or no, Bison Balls water jug. There's no sack in there, even though it is technically a water sack. But not bad. I only took like 2 cuts that whole time, so I talked straight through. Paused it only twice to catch my breath and drink water. So, also, if you really want to support the show, you can join me on Patreon. Sign up. And that is at CSR Pod. That's spelled CSRPOD. And, you know, that'll get you a shout out. Maybe some exclusive content maybe in the future. Or if you want to support it, just donate one time, which is also cool. Give me money. That'd be amazing. Because I do this, this podcast costs me money. But you know what, sometimes you got to pay money for hobbies. I love talking Ravens football, and here in Albuquerque, you can't do that, because there's not that many Ravens fans here. At least I haven't found them. So, yeah, so you can donate to my Venmo at CSR Pod. You know, all spelled the same, CSRPOD. Or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send me an email at csrpod@gmail.com. Once again, if you didn't get it already, that's csrpod@gmail.com. So, with that being said, that's going to do it. Let's go Ravens. Legion of Boom 2.0. Let's go. Have a good day. And you know what? Sweet dreams. Have a good night's sleep. See you tomorrow, maybe. Maybe I'll come out with another episode. I don't know about what, but I'm always willing to talk Ravens football. I love you.